Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Theodore here, and today we're going to be talking about the Fujifilm Instax Mini 99. So I actually have been testing this camera out for a few months now, and I can honestly tell you it's a really solid camera with a lot of functionality. I don't think it's your typical Instax Mini camera that Fujifilm has been coming out in the past couple of years. It's a really cool camera, and the reason why it's such a cool camera is because it has filters. Not just any filters, but real filters. Now, you guys have all seen digitally simulated filters, right, with their other Fujifilm Instax Mini line. Well, this one is all real. All of the filters are inside of the lens, and whenever you switch to green mode, there would be lights in here that would turn green every time you take a photo, and that's where the filter would come from. It's not digitally created, it's a real filter. And not only does it have real filters, it has a real lens, not a digital lens. If you guys have following me on this channel for a while, you guys all know I am a huge fan of analog lens as opposed to digital lens. For a lot of reasons, analog lens just is far more superior than digital lenses. Now, I'm not saying that these newer digital instant cameras aren't good, it's just when you take photos with them, I just think that the quality is nowhere near as good as an analog camera. So this camera has all of your standard modes like landscape mode, bulb mode, double exposure, all that fun stuff, plus filters. There is 6 filters in total, not including just normal mode. I'm not even gonna include that because it's not even a filter, but there's 6 filters in total. And then on your right side right here, there's light mode and then dark mode. And if you really want to play with your photos, and if you think it's like, hey, this day is really dark, maybe I should go a little bit lighter, you can add more exposure. There's just so much you can do with this camera, and I think this camera is geared more towards enthusiasts, people who are more interested in instant film photography and know how to play around with all that. And now, this camera isn't exactly cheap. It goes for about $200 on Amazon, USD that is. This camera isn't exactly cheap, but I like that you can do so much more with this rather than just point and shoot and then let the sensors just sense that, hey, it's really dark out, or hey, it's really light out. You can do that all manually, you can do that all on your own. And then there's the real filter that comes with the camera, which is awesome because I've never seen that for any of these newer instant film cameras. I've seen it before for vintage film cameras, like 35mm point and shoot cameras that are made in Japan, but not instant film cameras that are newlier made nowadays. These days they're all digitally simulated, and there's not as much craftsmanship in there anymore. I feel like there's just not that manual handcraft element in there. Everything's just digitally made. It just doesn't feel as genuine, whereas this camera, it's all real analog camera stuff, so everything is made as you take your photo. So this is such a cool camera. Like, I just love how everything is just manual. And also, this camera comes with this thumb holder thing right here where you can like hold your camera so that you don't cover the lens, which happens more than often, and then or you cover this flash, which is not good, not ideal, because whenever you take a photo and you really need that flash, your photo is just gonna be underexposed and super dark. So it's also a tripod mount, so you can hook this onto a tripod and then turn on self timer and then run over to your friends or family or wherever, or maybe you don't want to do that, it's bulb mode. You just click and then it'll take a photo. Love how innovative and how much thought they put into this element of it because they probably realize a lot of people is covering the lens and then also covering the flash, which is a no-go because you don't want that, okay? And there's a shutter button on top right here, and then there's also one in the front. So if you decide to take like a vertical picture, you can hold it like this and you can tap on this button. Or if you decide to do like a landscape photo, you can tap on this button. And you don't have to like move your hand this way and then take a photo, because then wouldn't that just defeat the whole purpose of this? Because then right now you're holding it like this, then you can potentially cover the flash. But if there's a shutter button up here, you can just click on this button and then you're good to go. No tripod mount on this side though, so if you do decide to take a landscape photo and then you're like, wait a minute, what am I gonna prop it up against? You know, there's nothing right here. You have this hole right here for a tripod, and that's pretty much it. But this is actually removable. If you don't want it, you can take it out, so you don't have to have it all the time, and then you can easily store it in a camera bag or something. For the most part, I would just leave it on here because then you would lose it if you don't put it on here. Another thing is that I really like the design of this camera because it looks so similar to their Fujifilm XT line, their Fujifilm X100 line. I just love how the decals are all white and red orange. It just looks so professional. Daisy, sorry, that is my dog. Daisy, Daisy, come here. Daisy. Okay, so minimal, and like you can read it really easily too, especially with a black camera, and then you have all these white decals. It just looks so chic and clean and easy to read. Love it. So Daisy, Winnie, Gucci, come here. So again, if you guys are on the market for a new camera, I highly recommend. This is probably gonna go next to like a wide camera range because I really like my Instax wide camera. Although that camera is just basically a point and shoot, but I really like that camera regardless. Probably on my top favorite list of cameras. I brought this camera to hiking with me a couple weeks ago, and then we went to brunch right after, and I was taking photos at the restaurant, and these people who were sitting right next to me were like, what camera is that? What kind of camera are you taking photos with? I just told them this is a really cool camera. If you need a camera, this is the camera to get. And not only that, I just love how it looks too. Not super bright and colorful like their other Instax Mini cameras. I like how it's like a really subtle, professional looking camera that's just built to do what it's supposed to do. Twist to turn on, by the way, it's not one that you push like this, because I find that if the camera has a push button, you're more than likely to accidentally turn it on without knowing, and then hence taking photos of your camera bag or your bag or just random things that you don't mean to take photos of, you're not likely at all to turn it on accident. Also has a vignette mode right here where you can turn on, and it'll like round the corners. And I did try some of the filters. The filters were fun and all, but honestly I really like just normal mode. Two filters that I really liked were the faded green and the light blue. Warm tone and the light leak were also pretty fun. It gives them like the really cool vintage look, but in my personal opinion, I really like the faded green and the light blue just because it really brings out, say, the sky or the greenery or the shrubbery in the background. It's really sharp too, as opposed to warm tone or light leak where the photos are a little bit more exposed. So it's a little bit more blurry. Oh yes, I also put this on the side of my camera. I just did this on my little label maker, but just so many functions on this camera that I do not remember. I literally have a brain of a goldfish, so I do not remember anything. I have this thing that just tells me, what does FG mean? What does LB mean? What does LL mean? What does all that stuff mean? Well, this is what it means. I think anybody and everybody should have this because your brain is there to remember stuff, but don't overuse it, okay? If you can do stuff like this, do it so that you don't overload your brain. I think that is all for today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this review, and if you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Adios!